What up, YouTube? It's your boy Zulu Gold. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Been a little under the weather. No COVID though. Uh, just some bad heartburn, man. Been working and working. Couple nights I laid down after eating late. Should have stayed up a little bit longer, man. So caught some real bad heartburn. Affected my voice a little bit. um, but doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It's been a minute. Apologize. But your boy's always working. I'm always, getting to it, and things is looking real good. Um, so I can't complain at all. But want to just to shed some light, man. I'm watching these brothers crash and burn, and some of the brothers I listen to when I can, some more so than others. Uh, I actually kind of stopped listening to one altogether, and then one kind of disappeared from the scenes for some reason. Um, and I loved his content. Young Pharaoh, I loved his content. He's kind of taking a back seat for some reason. He's kind of behind the scenes doing some other stuff, so he's not as present. Uh, Definitely on YouTube, we kind of know what happened with his YouTube situation, and that's why I was viewing him mostly. Uh, Umar, I still get to watch him. Uh, I agree with a lot he says. I know his recent take on the manosphere, the black manosphere. Um, Kind of in disagreement with that. I've been in disagreement with pro-blacks as 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 well as young Pharaoh as far as their approach to how they shift the responsibility of what goes on in the black community between black men and black women. It seems to always excuse the black women up until a point that something happens. So uh, we're in some situations now where Polite is going through some female related issues, some very serious sexual issues uh, regarding a minor. Um, that has happened before in pro black forums. You deal with Dr. Malachi York. You got the Bambata situation that had happened. Let's see here. And then, young Pharaoh, his is more personal. Um, I'm gonna break that down. Not so much as much criticism for young Pharaoh. I don't think he really did anything bad or nothing like that. It's just that I think he just didn't have enough information or didn't go through the proper research and selection process to try to organize what he wanted for himself. And I put that in the description, in the details. It's definitely something that he can look at and probably, see and be like, well, yeah, there's some things that I miss. Um, because I was recruited to be poly about 3, 4 years ago, actually by a female, and I had sense enough to research and study. I was in communication with the female, but she wasn't my cup of tea. I was not going to proceed with anything with her, even though she introduced me to it, welcomed me to it. It was just more so me her making acquaintance and just conversating, and then start gathering information on it. And that's when I discovered the difference between this new polyculture that was emerging in America and in similar Western societies versus the actual polyculture in the Eastern world. The polyculture in this world stems from open marriages, open relationships, particularly swinging. Uh, so they come from in this culture originally sexual deviant behavior. Uh, so the origins in poly over here, they're not like the origins in poly in Eastern culture. Another thing too is like the male preference for poly, which is polygyny. An alpha male. with multiple wives or women is still still something y- that hasn't even really gained ground or acceptance um, with the new emerging polyculture here. It's really beta and feminist oriented. Um, the groups that I had conversated with, interacted with, where I would say, well, I'm interested in polygyny. They didn't even know what the word was. Like they had to research the word. And then when they seen it, the expressions and the immediate rejection behind it lets you know that like poly in this culture is basically, you're just gonna be a swinger. You're gonna be one beta male. The females will even think that allow you to think that you're like the leading male or only male in their poly aspects. But they're gonna have the door, the avenue to have access to other men. So practicing poly here is is a waste of time if you this is where it gets into like you can't convert Western women into poly. They're not raised to understand the significance of the natural order behind poly. This is why I always talk about the majority of animal species have a polygyny order. It's an alpha male with multiple females. That is the majority of what's up, Sals? What's up? Uh, that is the majority of life forms on this earth. It is a polygyny construct, which is a natural order. Alpha males with multiple females. Um, and Eastern culture understands that. Western culture does not understand that. So if you have the money and means to organize yourself in a polygyny um, arrangement, if you made the conscious, first of all, if you made the conscious, fully informed and self-knowing decision to say that's what I want, okay, you have to research the cultures of the world, the countries and cultures and areas of the world to go look for that. And then you have to really be age specific. Um, you know, some countries have different age limits. Me personally, I would still go by the age limits in this country and kind of that would be the only thing that I would apply to another country is the age limits that's suitable or legal here. So I would select legally the age here, but only apply looking for women in specific countries of the legal age here. Those are the only two things I would interchange. I wouldn't interchange nothing else. But you are going to waste your time trying to convert women in America or Western societies into poly. And I'm pretty sure every man wants a polygyny construct. All polys aren't the same. They got different poly terms that uses that root word poly on the front to define what type of dynamic that they want. Um, but you, as an alpha man, want multiple wives. You will be rejected trying to find out what's going on with the poly in America. It is trash. It is a waste of time. Now, another thing too is a lot of women, even in the Eastern cultures, some don't want to be polygynous, but some have to be polygynous because they're in bad situations. I know a woman right now in Cameroon. She is stunning. She's a knockout, beautiful woman. I'm talking about. I could show you a picture of her, you know, and you'd be like, yeah, you'll definitely give that a go. But then this woman has two young children. The father of the kids have abandoned them, So there are single mothers over in Eastern world, okay? Um, and me at the point in my life where I don't really want young kids in my household, you know. So I have to target women that are over having kids or their kids are grown and left the house um, if I wanted multiple wives, because I'm not having no more kids. Now, a situation like hers, this is what I put in the description that you have to consider, an aspect of poly that um, calls for a concubine, and then you have to set that up a certain way because it'll have to be a single mother will be the perfect candidate for that, you know. As many single mothers we got running rampant over here, uh, that would be the only way I would deal with a single mother. I would just tell them like, you're just gonna be my concubine. Would I have to be able to afford her some type of benefit for doing that? Yes. Uh, but it is a status. It's actually a more respected status than being a thought prostitute, racking up a body count or running around hopeless and single like a lot of women over here do. Um, but a lot of guys don't know that. A lot of guys don't have this knowledge. But you have to be able to organize a lot of this stuff and set it up properly. So it's just something to think about. And see, that's the problem with young Pharaoh was young. Um, I think he thought more so the idea of having a polygamous relationship versus really researching it and understanding it and setting it up. And in doing so, he knew he would have known he had to really be specific in selecting the appropriate women because it's really age sensitive, it's culture sensitive, tradition sensitive, and then also the fact that you know the women that he seems to have chose were fairly young. You know, um, Western women, young, that won't end well. For one, young women here in America, they have not been taught tradition, culture, roles, how to be wives. Uh, they have not been taught femininity. They don't know proper dress, public display. They don't learn all of this stuff. So, you can't skip all that and then automatically transition these women into polygyny. You know what I'm saying? The, I mean, I don't. I mean, the guy didn't know. He was just real young. He didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he himself he grew up a certain way. So there's certain things that, far as growing up being a man, he didn't know role wise either. So um, that was very important. That was his biggest error was not knowing a lot before he got into that. There was too many basics that he had to cover, too many levels that he had to cover. Like I said, I like the brother. You know what I'm saying? The brother's very talented, gives great information. I watched him on a regular basis. He just disappeared from the scenes, took a back seat. So, I hope he bounces back and I hope he gets his situation together. This is not to set no shame on him or negativity toward him. You know, I'm just breaking down that he wasn't ready for what he was wanting. Uh, it's an individual matter too, because I would say it about myself. If I was raised a certain way, like not having a father, proper elders, role models to show me masculinity, to show me manhood, to show me roles between men and women in a family, uh, and taken to the culture tradition that's been passed down in my family generations. Uh, I can't just automatically assume before me getting those things that I can go into a whole new, different type of lifestyle. That I need to take some core basics into before I even try that lifestyle, and I have to research that new lifestyle after already having been trained properly in acquiring the skills or the core basics, from my own family. So that 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 is very, very, very essential. Now, I'm gonna save Umar for last. I'm just gonna get into polite, man, because polite's probably the most serious matter uh, in this string, right? Um, Me, I'm pro-black, but I'm a different kind of pro-black. Like I'm not running around hating people, blaming people, or nothing like that. I just naturally got love for my people. Um, and I keep a lot of stuff in perspective, but I deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect the laws of the country that you reside in. You have to coexist with people of the planet, and you can't dislike other people because they are of your origin. You can't do that. And then another thing is like you can't blame all people for what a few have done. I don't do that. Just like I don't blame people of other races for what some people within their race have done. I don't blame all women for what uh, some women have done. I don't blame all men for what some men have done. So, and then I take individual responsibility for myself. When I fuck up, I fuck up, you know. So, and then in the black community, even though I love all my people ain't right. And I'll call a spade in a heartbeat. Like niggas be on some dumb shit, you know. So that's that's something that I had to, clear up about my pro blackness. Like I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, everything black, and nah, it don't work like that over here. It's never gonna work like it over here. But the biggest purpose for my pro blackness is me seeing the attack on black masculinity. That's what I represent. I'm just looking at most of my brothers, you know, not really taking a stand to defend their masculinity, and that's what I'm here for. First and foremost, it really has nothing to do with uh, trying to go against other races or anything like that. I'm just going against more so agendas that are attacking our masculinity, and that's what I want to defend, and that's why I'm here. Now, polite, you know, is the worst pro-black that you can encounter. Um, there's not. I've seen nothing beneficial from polite other than just watching some entertaining debates early on. You talking about 2015, 16, 17, maybe borderline 2019. After that, it for me, it was just like it was a waste of time to look at a lot of that stuff that uh, he talked about and participated in. Um, Even when I used to look at like all the little debates Netta and them used to organize and stuff like that stuff got old real quick to me. Because I already knew a lot of stuff in regards to different religions, different factions, you know what I'm saying, amongst the black community and how they would battle for supremacy over who's giving accurate information and stuff like that. Um, More so from historical arguments and religious arguments. Yeah, that was fine. It was entertaining. Um, but one thing I always noticed was there was never actually no real building of something economical, something tangible, something to provide, the community with. So that was the first thing I realized. It was more so just an entertainment thing. So I would check it out from time to time and laugh and trip off of it, but I'd be like, man, these niggas is nuts. They talking about some bullshit right now. We actually need schools. We actually need, jobs. We actually need people to create businesses. We do need the restoration of the family, and but like they be on there arguing about who's the real this and that based on history, what this date, that date, this group, I'm this, I'm that. I'd be like, man, oh my goodness. So of course, Uh, I ain't watched a lot of that stuff probably in like a year and a half, 2 years, maybe a little longer. Uh, I'll peek at Sonetta, pop up on my stream or something like that, my feed, but wouldn't really click on it because it'd be the same old stuff, same old topic. His last rant about going to the manosphere based on, dealing with betas and women and stuff like that, as far as taking a toll on him too. So that's the last time I actually checked him out, uh, which is ironic. But Polite, um, his behavior as far as when he achieved, I guess the numbers and success that he wanted, the money that he wanted, uh, he completely changed his whole imagery. Uh, he would parade around with one or two wives, and you would see him with them for years at a time, and then all of a sudden he's popping up with different women in hotels, and uh, he seemed to be high or drunk, uh, dressed like uh, he was going to some type of hip hop video or something like that. You know, the African aspect that he promoted really disappeared. Um, just went completely out the window. And then, you could tell that he was in a party lifestyle, a celebration aspect, way more than than ever. So that was the thing, right? Now, let me connect what I just said to what I put in the description as far as pro-blacks tend to disregard the current laws in the country that they reside in. Uh, it goes back into blaming the system first and foremost. It can get off into also finger pointing at one particular group or race, but the ones you got to watch out for that can take you into an arena of disregarding the laws of the land, and which will relate to sexual or age consent laws, is the ones that really talk that uniform commercial code stuff. And Polite did a lot of that. Malachi York was involved in that. That was the same stuff that got Wesley Snipes caught up with his taxes, which also got Chris Tucker caught up with his taxes because he was connected to Wesley Snipes as well. Wesley Snipes was connected to Malachi York. Um, now, you you talk about uniform commercial code. I don't want to get into all that stuff. But when they talk terms like secured party creditor, what I'm saying, straw mans and all that those stuff like that, a hidden law system or matrix with keywords or secret words and stuff like that invokes uh, different authorities and processes. Uh, you have to be careful with dudes that talk like that. And then, we know the natural biological makeup of humans. At the age 13, 12, 13, 14, both sexes can actually reproduce. But does that make it right? No. All right. So these guys, they plant the seed to question something that doesn't need to be questioned. Like it's just certain aspects of law you just don't try to bypass. Okay, you just leave that shit alone. It is what it is. That's the reality that you have to accept. Um, I'm not saying Polite specifically maybe have a fetish or targeted young women. I don't know what happened. I don't even think he's really guilty of actual proceeding proceeding through intercourse with a young woman. What I do believe is that what interaction he did have with a young woman was inappropriate, whether a misdemeanor or felony. It's looking like more misdemeanor than anything right now, based on the facts, based on the evidence, based on recent events. Um, but putting it all together, his party lifestyle, his change in imagery, going from Afrocentric to popping up with random, multiple different women over a course of time, and to be going to an adult, grown setting, party, or event with a minor is just downright ridiculous. Um, it, if you're going to be polygynous, you have to be modest. You still have to have regard for public imagery. You still have to make it family friendly and oriented. Uh, in this society, it is not a common custom. It is actually rejected and scoffed upon. And trying to promote it and saying that it's better or it's something that should be done, especially if you claim that it will help rebuild the Black community and help um, take on some single mothers, in which I say hell to the no, unless you're making them a concubine and you got enough money to set them up somewhere. I say hell to the no to that. But you don't do it any justice when you do what Polite has done. Okay. Polite at one time was achieving the success of showing that, okay, I have a polygynous family, I have a successful family, and we're making money. All right. So he was supposed to take advantage of that and make it very uh, the best presentation he could for family imagery, uh, family friendly, uh, making it seem ideal to the public. So he's ruined that, um, just as well as his own individual career. He is not the example to follow, in a polygamous, um, any type of polygamous teaching, polygyny teaching. He is not the example. So he has ruined that. Um, I don't think young Pharaoh was such a bad example. Young Pharaoh was kind of headed in the right direction. Like I said, young Pharaoh just wasn't fully prepared individually as well as into uh, what he wanted to get into. Um, so that's Polite's the most serious aspect of that. Now, Umar, on the other hand, is a poor example because Umar does not seem to have the organization. He doesn't seem to have the financial success. Um, he hasn't. I mean, from what I've seen of Umar, I don't know how he lives. I've seen some evidence of how he lived, but I don't know. That was so long ago, but I know he was living like really below what I expect him to live. Um, Now I do know he has some finances. He just doesn't have the success or projections I've seen from Pharaoh Polite. So I'm kind of worried, financially or economically, how he would handle uh, his polygyny situation, and then especially with accepting single mothers with uh, many kids. So that's a lot of kids. He has kids of his own. So that's my concern. Um, is he really organized? Does he have something in place to maintain all that? And this is related to all of them. You know, you have to have a plan for such a thing. You know, there is a greater good and purpose beyond your desire to have more than one woman and your sexual desires. You know, that thing has to run like a well-oiled machine. Everybody has to have a position and role. Uh, there has to be not just one plan, but a layer of different plans and multiple goals that has to be carried out. And these things have to be executed consistently on a daily basis. Um, so you want your family to be successful. You want them to um, help run the family businesses or businesses. Uh, if people are working or career people or whatever, the end result still has to be some type of ownership, some type of retirement, some type of long lasting funds that can be passed down uh, from generation to generation. So that stuff has to happen. So it's just not about how many women you want and you satisfying your dick. Um, and then you have to have the proper image. You have to proceed in public a certain way, be and display and represent all that a certain way. So, I mean, these guys, man, you know, didn't do the research. Uh, I think they just thought of the idea, got a couple pieces of information here and there, but they didn't really do the research and they didn't take their time. The research itself takes patience. Like, I was introduced to this in 2017, and I have not proceeded to be in a poly relationship because I've been studying for that long. But I've had other individual things that are more important to me that I couldn't even try to do that if I weren't working on the stuff that I'm working on now. Um, so, and I've hit milestones, and I'm still not ready. Uh, you know, just me. Let me describe what I'm looking at for myself. Uh, I still have to have a whole lot more money. You're me personally. I wouldn't be comfortable doing it unless I was a multimillionaire, and I'm not a multimillionaire. Another thing is like the foreign wife thing, and which is more than likely going to have to be. Um, I couldn't. I have not wrapped my mind around trying to bring a foreign woman to America. Okay, whether it be monogamous or polygyny. Um, I just haven't wrapped my mind around it. You know, and then that puts me in a position where I'm researching countries where what are the housing costs? You know what I'm saying? What are the situations in these countries? You know what I'm saying? Are these countries war torn? It's a lot of different type of stuff, you know. Now, there's a lot of countries where, the average three-bedroom home is 15 to $20,000 American money. Some countries have homes cheaper than that. You see what I'm saying? So, I can purchase multiple homes. But here's the thing, like I don't have the means right now to travel back and forth to be present enough on a regular basis because I wouldn't bring them here. I wouldn't. So the poly construct for me right now is based on a multi-millionaire status or retirement where I can go somewhere and I can set it up. Um, I would not do it here. Uh, the only thing that I would do here if I wanted to was uh, afford a single mother concubine status. That would be it. Um, I wouldn't do anything here other than that. So, that means I would have to leave achieving multimillionaire status or retirement. I would have to leave and go to where I set myself up for that lifestyle. So, it's it's a lot to take in. It's something the idea of it, yeah, it'll hit you real quick. It'll spark something, and then you can determine where I am a man who can't be with more than one woman. I feel like I need more than one, or I know I need more than one woman. Yeah, so that is a lot to take in and really digest. It's not that simple. And then you have to be uh also disciplined too. Like you know when people go into relationships and commitments and get married, you can't be a cheater. You still can't be a womanizer, and you still have to be loyal to that group of particular women that you got that agreement with. So even then, like if you got cravings for more and more women beyond that, there's no need in you doing that as well. Because it's just the same as cheating with their monogamy and stuff like that. I mean, dick control is everything, man. Uh, dick control is everything, man. But I gave y'all guys some real raw and uncut, valid information regarding poly, regarding the mistakes the individuals in this title have made, uh, and the complexity of it, and the patience you have to have with it. Uh, you That stuff is like really years in the making. That's something you just don't up and do. And you got to have a lot of stuff in place, and you got to be right within yourself. So, I mean, I want you guys to know this. I want you guys to share this. Uh, and this is also a warning to do not participate in poly that has been originated in Western culture. All aspects of poly in Western culture is a danger zone to uh, a masculine heterosexual man who has come to understand that he may want more than one woman. You will not be able to proceed in America. I've already done the research. I've already talked to many groups, interacted with many groups, uh, more so on a conversation level and research level. I never really met and went into any gatherings or events, anything like that, because I knew what it was. Most of it is swingers. Most of it is a bunch of women want more than one man. Uh, it's a lot of sexual deviancy. It's a lot of bisexuality, homosexuality, and that is not where you want to go. So I stayed away from that shit. Once I realized all that shit, I stayed away from that shit. A lot of it is a lot of jealous women too, who are trying to compete with their men or current husbands. Like I said, a lot of it stems from swinging. That's where the polyculture comes from. So stay away. Stay away. Uh, Other than that, you won't be able to convert the average black woman or westernized woman to poly. So be careful, fellas. Uh, be careful. Watch out for yourself. Uh, really look at these individuals who are promoting poly. And I'm telling you, when they promote poly, I'm telling you, they have not done the research. It is years in the making. And if they are saying poly in regards to Western women, man, you need to laugh at them. You definitely need to laugh at them. So, um, other than that, man, y'all stay safe out there, man. Y'all stay in shape, healthy and fit, prepared. Stay on top of your money, man, and stay stress free and peace of mind. Get rest, man. It's your boy Zulu Go. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all.